I have to explain those things, then I have to follow the today's information also. So, mathematics has two kinds of correlation. One is intra-correlation, other one is extra-correlation. Intra-correlation means you know that within the subject there is a correlation. Maths have 5 areas. You know that those 5 areas are, the first one is algebra, second one is arithmetics. The extension of arithmetics comes under the number theory. Okay. Geometry. Of course, in geometry you have a plane geometry and coordinate geometry. Okay. Next, mensuration, data handling. So, these are the 5 areas. One is algebra, second one is arithmetics, third one is geometry, fourth one is mensuration, fifth one is data handling. Okay. In algebra, you know that so many areas comes, those areas are polynomials, okay, pair of linear equations, quadratic equations, systematic equations, cyclic equations, like all comes under the algebraic area. Now, coming to the next one, arithmetics. So, in arithmetics actually it is a part and parcel of number theory. Okay. We have ratios, proportions, profit and loss, time and distance, all will comes under the arithmetics, which is a part of a number theory. Now, coming to the next one is a geometry. You know that geometry is a very important area, and in geometry can be, it is not a classification. Plane geometry we call it as simply as a plane geometry, and the next one is a coordinate geometry. In the plane geometry, you are going to learn about a 2D plane figures like straight line, correct, triangles, quadrilaterals, polygons, circles and its properties, clear. And the extension of this one is a coordinate geometry. So, coordinate geometry is a 2-dimensional geometry, a 3-dimensional geometry, and a 4th dimensional geometry also there, but in 4th dimensional geometry you are going to learn at post graduation level to understand space physics. Okay. So, when in initial stage there is a difference between mathematics and physics. When you go higher classes after graduation, so the mathematics becomes a physics and physics becomes a mathematics. So, we call it as applied mathematics as physics, applied physics as a mathematics. So, there is a very thin layer between maths and physical sciences. So, here in coordinate geometry, plane geometry, of course, 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional you can understand easily, but when you come into the 4th dimensional geometry, you have to know that there are 4 coordinates. One is x, second one is y, third one is z, and fourth one is time, because you want to learn about the celestial bodies in the universe. So, celestial bodies are not stationary bodies. So, they are moving bodies. They are in a spherical shape. Spherical shape means here they are in 3-dimensional shape. They are moving with a maximum speed. So, the time also plays important role. So, x, y, z and t will be considered as a dimension. So, 4th dimension. So, you are going to learn those in less. Now, come to the next one is a mensuration. Okay. So, it is a 3-dimensional, 2-dimensional figures, but here it is concerned with the areas and perimeters. Okay. Their combination of solids and of course, conversion of solids and finding the areas and perimeters of the plane figures and the 2D figures, of course, those are, and the 3-dimensional figures. There is a conversion from 2D to 3D and 3D to 2D, and to represent these things on the isometric dot paper for 3D and simply graph paper for the 2D. So, like we are going to learn about this mensuration. Now, coming to the next one is data handling. Data handling means your statistics, probability. All these chapters will comes under the data handling concepts, clear. So, here there is no difference. So, algebra is not an independent chapter and arithmetics is not an independent area and geometry is not its own. So, we can apply the algebraic laws, functions, everything in the geometry, and we apply the geometrical areas in the algebra area. So, there are interrelation between these two. So, if you want to understand the mensuration, you should have good concepts about the geometry. So, geometry and mensuration, most probably they are the both sides of the same. Okay, now you are going to know the central tendency of the data, mean, median, mode. You have to find those things. So, mean, median, mode, again it depends on the algebraic class, correct. So, and in between these two there are some other areas you are going to learn it as a trigonometry. So, trigonometry is completely based on the geometrical concepts. One more area you are going to learn the sets. Sets is a part of arithmetics like we are saying, but it's its own difference, but there is a relation between all these. So, all these 5 areas are interrelated. So, we have to understand the interrelation and we have to explain the same things to the children, then definitely the children can understand the concepts in a clear mode, clear. Okay. Now, coming to this is a interrelation. Now, we are going to the external relation means here. So, there is a mathematics is concerned with the other branches also. I will give a small example to you. Maybe all of you are observed that there is a cricket game is going on, a T20 or one day game is going on. A ball was bowled by a bowler, the ball was hit by the batsman. If the batsman, of course, the batsman hit the ball, you want to know how the ball was dropped there. Okay, you want to know the position, mathematics is required. How the ball goes in the air, he has to know it is nothing but it is a projectile. The trajectory of the projectile is parabola, means the path of that ball is parabola, it's move in a parabolic shape. Okay, this is one concept, it's a mathematical concept. And if the of course, the fielder want to catch the ball, generally what he will do? So, he will hold the ball, and if you want to hold the ball, he push his hands towards his body and make down little bit of, what is the reason? There you call it as impulse, means force into time. Okay. If the ball immediately comes rest, it gives more stress on our hands. So, the fielder may drop the ball, correct. So, when he pulls his hands towards him, means he give much more time to get rest. So, obviously, time increases, force decreases, strain will be reduces, the fielder can catch it. It is called impulse. See how these concepts are interrelated. I will give one more example. So, recently our ISRO launched 34 satellites. 1 month back already that was telecasted by our Mana TV, all of you maybe viewed those, and 1 month back again so it is a world record also. So, 104 satellites are telecast, of course launched from him, clear. So, those things also, so if you want to know how the rocket will travel, so it's when it's projected, it becomes like a projectile. So, its path is in the form of y equal to ax minus bx square. It is a quadratic equation, correct. So, once you know the nature of the quadratic equation, you can understand the, of course, the path of the projectile, means physics is directly connected with the mathematical concepts, clear. So, that is the reason in the 10th class textbook in the chapter of quadratic equation we gave 5 figures: satellite dish, a rocket, spheres, okay. And even in chemistry also, for example, in chemistry, so atomic structure, in the nucleus, the electrons are revolving around the nucleus, okay. So, if you consider that, so when you consider the nucleus, it is a combination of protons and neutrons, okay. Protons have positive charge and neutrons have neutral charge, correct. So, the electrons revolving around the nucleus in elliptical orbit. Elliptical orbit means x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1. It is an ellipse, correct. X square by a square plus y square by b square, it is an ellipse. If when a is equal to b, the minor axis and major axis lengths are equal, this ellipse will become as a circle, clear. If you want to know the planetary motion, we can apply this properties of ellipse, correct. So, mathematics is directly connected with the physics, it is a direct connection. So, if you are good in mathematics, relatively you are good in physics. Now, coming to the chemistry, when you come into the chemistry part area, so you know Boyle's law, you know Charles' law, you know other laws also. You know that Boyle's law means here the pressure is directly proportional to 1 by V, or you can say P is proportional to 1 by V, or the pressure and volume indirectly proportional. When the pressure increases, volume decreases, volume increases, pressure decreases. So, simply we will call it as a PV is constant. It is nothing but proportion, inverse proportion, clear. If you know this, then you can understand it. When you take the Charles' law, the velocity, of course, the volume of the gas is directly proportional to the temperature. So, V is proportional to T. So, like any concepts, maximum concepts of physics or chemistry are connected with the mathematics. Now, coming to the biological science. When you take the biological science, so if you take the biological science concepts, so definitely, so if you want to know the pH value of blood or body mass index, so anything so concerned to the biological science, mathematics is required. Now, coming to the social studies. When you come into the social studies, you know that there is a rule in the about the population. The population increases in the geometric progression, but the food grains are increases in arithmetic progression. That is the reason for inflation or scarcity in the food. You know that arithmetic progression not increase in a very huge manner, but geometric progression will increase in a very rapid. Clear? So, this is the things, so you can understand, if you want to understand those concepts, especially economics. So, if you want to take a dividend, of course, if you want to understand the stock exchange and its functioning, so mathematics is required. So, social studies also is directly connected with the mathematics, and even it is connected with the languages also. Okay. So, if you want to write a poem, there should be a rhythmic, there should be some steps, you have to follow the logical reasoning, correct. Even music, all the music notes based on the numerals. Okay. So, like we can say any branch of the science or anything, so it is concerned with the mathematics. So, mathematics is directly or indirectly connected with the all the branches of sciences and its other things, clear. This is a correlation of mathematics with inside, of course, intra relation and extra relation. This is the things. So, we have to finalize those things. So, one or two questions may comes in this particular area in the examination. Now, coming to the next one is what is the different mathematicians contributed their contributions to develop the mathematical concepts. So, first we have to discuss about the greatest mathematician starts with 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧. Okay. So, this is very important. You know that 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧, on the name of 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧, so we projected one satellite, call it as Bhaskar, correct. So, you know that 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧. So, this is a second one, actually he has written 𝗂𝗽𝗃. This was the book was written by 𝗂𝗃. This is the most important. The book, the second book was written by the 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧, call it as a 𝗂𝗃. So, maybe you know that what is the importance of 𝗂𝗃 means here. It is concerned with the astrology. Okay, how to calculate the motion and its impacts of the different kinds of the planets to know all the things. So, it is completely concerned with the astrology, clear. And there is an equation, call it as nx square plus 1 is equal to y square. Nx square plus 1 equal to y square. If you want to solve this equation, we have to use the one method, we call it a Chakravala method. This is the most important. The Chakravala method was very familiar with the other mathematicians in the world, like Galois, Euler, Lagrange. So, they started as a in-work cyclic method. So, the same method is used to solve the equation of nx square plus 1 equal to y square. This is a very, very important, and of course, we call it as it is a self equation. Nx square plus 1 is equal to y square, we call it as a self equation. This is the most important, and you know that 61x square plus 1 is equal to y square. When you consider this 61x square plus 1 equal to y square, so we will get the smallest solution in terms of whole numbers, and it has nearly 9 to 10 decimals. Clear? This is the most importance of this, and this one is invented before 500 years of BC. So, most important, and one more problem was given, still they are struggling for the answer. Okay. Differential of a function, it was introduced, that is also very important. Okay. And he has given different properties, call it as ratios, LCM and GCD. How to find this LCM and GCD are the very easiest way, and different kinds of ratios they explained. So, see, I will give a small example for that. Before that, I have to recapitulate these things here. You know that Bhaskaracharya is a very familiar Indian mathematician. The second book which was written by the Bhaskaracharya is Karana Kutuhalam. This is the book, and so he has given one equation which is called nx square plus 1 equal to y square. He solved this equation by using Chakravala method. It is a very familiar equation, and he has given one equation called 61x square plus 1 equal to y square. The solution has up to 9, the value is the smallest value which has up to 9 decimals, okay, and use the differential of a function. That is the most important. So, I will give a simple question to you. See the importance of the fractions. I have given as 1 by 20 plus 1 by 30 plus 1 by 42 plus 1 by 56 plus 1 by 72 plus 1 by 90 plus 1 by 110 plus 1 by 120 or 132. Clear? Okay. Spontaneously, I gave one equation here. 1 by 20 plus 1 by 30 plus 1 by 42 plus 1 by 56 plus 1 by 72 plus 1 by 90 plus 1 by 110 plus 1 by 132. Solve it. Find the value of this. You have to find it. Okay. So, the question is given, you have to solve it. How to do it? So, I observed in various live presentations and other classes, I observed when I gave the same question to the children, what they do, they want to try to find the LCM of this, because the fractions. So, when we will use the LCM, so if there are 2 or 3 fractions, then we apply the LCM, but here more than 3. So, it is very difficult to find the LCM, correct. Then some of them try to find by using calculator, they will find what is 1 by 20, it is 1 by 20 is 0.05, 1 by 30 it is 0.03, like they divided 1 with 10, 20, 30 and they are finding the values. At last they got the answer, some value, not accurate, it takes much more time. So, here the observation is the most important, and When I ask what kind of relation you find it, that is 20, 30, 42, 56, 72, 90, 110 and 132. Some of them said all are even numbers, sir. Good, that is correct. And some of them said, okay, so the difference between 20 and 30, because you are preparing for the quantitative aptitude. So, they will see that generally whether it is increased with the fixed numbers or as a squares or as a cubes, or the difference of squares as a difference of cubes, like you practiced maybe, correct. So, like they will see that the first one is increased by 10, 20 plus 10, 30, next 12, 30 plus 12, 42, next 14, 42 plus 14, 56, next 16. So, it is increased as a 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 like. So, they said okay, but these things are not useful to get the answer, then how to do it, correct. The observation is the most important, that is the reason I said observation skills are very important. Here 20 you can write it as 4 5s, am I correct? And 30 you can write it as 5 6s. 42 you can write as 6 7s. 56 you can write as 7 8s. And 72 you can write as 8 9s. 90 you can write as 9 10s. And 110 you can write as 10 11s. And 132 you can write as 11 12s. What do you notice here? They are the product of consecutive natural numbers. 4 5s, 5 6s, 6 7s, 7 8s, 8 9s, 9 10s, 10 11s and 11 12s. So, 1 by 21, so you can write it as, I will write a little bit here, 1 by 4 of 5, correct. Then 1 by 4 of 5 you can write it as 1 by 4 minus 1 by 5. The reason is the LCM is 4 into 5 and the numerator is 5 minus 4, which is 1, which gives 1 by 4 into 5. Means you can split this 1 by 20 as a difference of two fractions as 1 by 4 minus 1 by 5. So, 1 by 30 you can write as 1 by 5 minus 1 by 6, and 1 by 42 you can 1 by 6 minus 1 by 7. Next one is 1 by 7 minus 1 by 8. Next one is 1 by 8 minus 1 by 9. Next one is 1 by 9 minus 1 by 10. And next one is 1 by 10 minus 1 by 11. And the last one is 1 by 11 minus 1 by 12. Just observe all this. When you observe all this, the first and last terms will be remain, the rest of the terms will cancel. Means minus 1 by 5 plus 1 by 5 get cancelled. Minus 1 by 6 plus 1 by 6 get cancelled. And minus 1 by 7 plus 1 by 7 would get cancelled. Minus 1 by 8 plus 1 by 8 get cancelled. Same. 1 by 9, 1 by 9. Minus 1 by 10 plus 1 by 10. Minus 1 by 11 plus 1 by 11. So, what is the remaining? We have 1 by 4 and 1 by 12. Means here the total fractions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. 8 fractions will be simplified as a difference of 2 fractions. Now, you can find the LCM easily, am I correct? So, 4 and 12 LCM is 12, you know that because 4 3 is 12. So, here 3, here 1, 2 by 12, answer is just 1 by 6. See the beauty of mathematics. So, you can enjoy by learning or doing mathematics when you know the depths of the concepts. So, that is a very, very important. So, always we think how best you are going to do, how simple you are going to do the problems. So, the teacher is always a learner. So, he has to learn. Okay. So, that is the reason tomorrow in the class I am going to give the very valuable information not only for this examination, but also it is in a professional also it is highly useful. Tomorrow I am going to discuss about resources, various resources, okay, in the form of books, in the form of visuals, and in the form of websites, in the form of links, in the form of DVDs. Are what are the different books are required, what are the different DVDs are required, what are the different sites are required to learn the mathematics and to teach the mathematics in an effective manner. So, there you can collect all this information and we can make mathematics as a most interesting and effective. Clear? So, are you understand this? So, now, so this is the most important. So, these mathematicians always did their work on, and they do not believe that. I will give a simple example to you, that is you know that there is a general formula for an even number, you can say as 2n. So, we can say a general formula for an odd number either 2n minus 1 or 2n plus 1. We can give a general formula for a perfect number 2 power k minus 1 of 2 power k minus 1, where k is greater than or equal to 2. Or you know what is a perfect number? Perfect number means here the sum of the factors of a number is equal to double of the number, twice of the number. For example, 6. What are the factors of 6? 1, 2, 3, 6. Sum of these is 1 plus 2, 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 6 is 12, twice of the number. Clear? And the next one is 28. If you take it as 1, 2, 4, 7, 14, 28. These are the factors. 1 plus 2, 3, 3 plus 4, 7, 7 plus 7, 14, 14 plus 14, 28, 28 plus 28, 56, which is the twice of 28. Correct? So, these numbers are called the perfect numbers. And of course, if you substitute k equal to 1, 2 for example, 2 because k is greater than or equal to 2, 2 minus 1, 2 power 2 minus 1 is 2 power 1, which is 2. 2 square minus 1, that is 4 minus 1, 3, 2 3 is a 6, that is the first number, it is the smallest perfect number. When you take k equal to 3, 2 power 3 minus 1, 2 cube minus of 2, 2 power 3 minus 1, 2 square, which is 4, and 2 cube minus 1 means 8 minus 1, 7, 4 sevens are 28. The beauty of these numbers is, other than 6, the perfect number can be expressed as sum of 2 cubes, means here, so 28 you can write as 1 cube plus 3 cube. Clear? So, that is the beauty of these numbers. So, this there is a formula for a perfect number. There is a formula for a triangular number which is called n of n plus 1 by 2. Like different kinds of numbers has a general formula. Like Fermat also tried to give a general formula for a prime number. He has given a general formula for prime number as 2 to the power of 2 to the power of n plus 1. 2 to the power of 2 to the power of n plus 1, he said it is a prime number. Maximum people believe that it is a, because Fermat is given, so you know that Fermat last theorem also how importance for that. Clear? So, 2 to the power of 2 to the power of n plus 1, so they substitute n equal to 1 first, 2 square 4, 4 plus 1 5, correct. Say n equal to 2, 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 2, 2 square means 4, 2 power 4, 16 plus 1, 17 is a prime number, accepted. Okay. They go for 3, 2 power 8, correct, 2 power 8 simple, 2 cube is 8, 2 power 8 plus 1, 256 plus 1, 257 a prime number, then they will stop it. Everyone believes that it is a prime number, correct, but Euler did not believe because he is a mathematician. See those so he tried it, finally he find that where n equal to 5 means 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 5 plus 1 is divisible by 641, means 641 is one of its factor. Clear? So, means what is a prime number? A number has 2 factors exactly, the number itself and 1 is called a prime number. But here 2 power 5 plus 1 has one more factor which is called 641. So, it is not a prime number, correct. So, means you always so that is a very important, why you are going to learn about the mathematicians and their contributions means here, this is very important, those are interesting and always they will promote us and motivate us to know some more about the concept, to try to know something. This is the most important. Okay. Now, come back to the Bhaskaracharya. This you know that Bhaskaracharya has written one more book is called Leelavati Ganitham. Okay, this is the most important. You know that Leelavati actually it is a translation of Persian. It was written in a Persian as a translated. We call it as Faizi and actually after getting of course his daughters on the name of daughter Leelavati, he was written that book and is concerned to the totally algebra, maximum part is algebra. Clear? Okay. So, and algebra, you know that so many concepts are there in algebra. So, all these comes under the by using 𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧. So, this is a very important. If you see the 𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧 book, there is interesting things in the 𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧 Ganitam. So, that is a very important. This was about Bhaskaracharya. Clear? Now, coming to the one more greatest mathematician, on the name of mathematician, the UNICEF also, of course, and UNESCO also announced as that year as a international mathematics year also, and every year we are celebrating on the birthday of Ramanujan as a national mathematics day. Okay. So, you know that's a very important Ramanujan. Actually, at the age of, there are so many stories about Ramanujan. You know that I will say the very interesting, of course, very useful story for that about Ramanujan. Actually was born, all these things are when he was born, when he was died, and when what is not necessary, but what is his contributions is very important. The most important contribution was given by, of course, we call it as continued fractions. Continued fractions is a very important. Just I am taking the essence of the continued fractions as an example. Clear? So, continued fractions is the most important. He has written, and he has written as Mach theta functions. Continued fractions, Mach theta functions. So, he did the maximum contribution on number theory. This is the most important. Okay. Hardy is a you know that is a very familiar head of the department of mathematics at Cambridge University. He went there. So, went there, he did so many theorems on number theory and other applications. At the age of 32 years, when he was suffered with plague, he come back to our India. Okay. So, at the time so just next day, I think so, he is going to be died. So, you can understand the position, health conditions of Ramanujan. At the time, his friend Hardy want to see about his friend, how he was. So, he arrived to one port. There he is searching for a taxi, and then you know that the taxi, because a mathematician is very correlated with the numerologist also. He just because he is doing so many things about on the numbers. So, he believes some numbers are odd numbers. So, of course, he does not like the 17 is the number he does not like. He do not want to start any things on the particular 17 number, but he is waiting for taxi. The taxi number is 1729, 1729. 1729 is the taxi number, you know it. So, this number is started with 17. So, he has to wait for more than half an hour, but no taxi available at that time. Finally, he travelled by the same taxi, and he reached Ramanujan house. After some conversation, he said to the Ramanujan, so I travelled by one taxi, its number is 1729, and actually I did not feel comfortable about that number like he said. So, you can understand at the time Ramanujan is unable to speak it also properly at that particular consequences. He said 1729 is not a waste number or something, is not a unuseful number. It is the most valuable number in the number system. This is the smallest number in the 4 digits, which can be expressed as sum of 2 cubes in 2 different ways. Maybe all of you know that there are how many numbers of 4-digit numbers? Can you say the 4-digit numbers? How many 4-digit numbers? How to find the number of 4-digit numbers? The largest 4-digit number is 9999, and the largest 3-digit number is 999. The difference of these two means here 9000. There are 9000 4-digit numbers. Among the 9000 4-digit numbers, this is the smallest number, which can be expressed as sum of two cubes in two different ways. That is 1729 can be expressed as a 10 cube plus 9 cube. 10 cube is 1000 and 9 cube is 729. So, 1000 plus 729 1729, and one more as 12 cube plus 1 cube. 12 cube is 1728 and 1 cube is 1. So, 12 cube plus 1 cube is 1729. So, such a greatest mathematician. Okay. So, actually does not have any good qualification or that, but he just throughout his life he spent he alive only for 32 years, but he spent his total years to innovate mathematics. More than 1000 theorems were discovered by the of course innovated by the our greatest mathematician Srinivasa Ramanujan. Clear? And of course on that our government also started Ramanujan Institute of Mathematics. This on the name of Ramanujan, they started Ramanujan Institute of Mathematics in 1950, and the government also honored him by releasing a postal stamp on his name. Of course, he was and the government also announced his birthday as his National Mathematics Day. So, on that particular day so many mathematical seminars and other things are going to be conducted. So, at the time you know what is the importance of the mathematics. This is most important. Clear? So, we have to know, because why, maybe a question arises in the minds of all the teachers, why you are going to learn to know about a mathematician. Means first you have to understand what are their contributions and how impact on the mathematics, like you have to understand. That is the reason generally we said we want to start a mathematical lab. So, in the mathematical lab at one area you have to paste the different mathematician photographs and give the profile of each mathematician, and when the student enter into the maths lab, they will see different mathematicians and they know their contributions also. So, then they can understand so the importance of the mathematics. That is the reason in the textbook of 9th class, in the chapter of introduction of geometry, elements of geometry, we said elements of geometry, that is a chapter name. There we give the importance of the greatest mathematician, of course, of father of, we call it as father of geometry, as Euclid. So, the importance of that is Euclid geometry, non-Euclid geometry, there are two areas. Clear? So, Euclid, this is most important. The Euclid has given 5 postulates, and he has written a book, name is Elements. It is 17 volumes, and so he gave that information. So, we have to give that what is Euclid geometry and give the information of those things. Okay. And the development of other things in the other branches, as you know that it is call it as in the number system we call it Euclid lemma. We use the concept of Euclid lemma. You know that in the 10th class textbook in the chapter of real numbers we gave the Euclid lemma. If a and b are two numbers, you know that a and b are two numbers, then you can say a is equal to b into q plus r, where 0 is less than r is okay, is less than or equal to b. Clear? So, this is, we can call it as Euclid lemma, and here a is the dividend, b is the of course, b is the divisor and q is the quotient and r is the remainder, and its applications also based on the LCM and GCD. Clear? Okay. Now, you can understand, we can move for other mathematician, call it as of course, I will give some very interesting things here. Root x plus y is equal to 7, and one more equation is x plus root y equal to 11. Root x plus y equal to 7 and x plus root y, when you have a pen with you, try to get the answer. Root x plus y equal to 7 and x plus root y equal to 7. Then generally most of them feel that they will convert, actually they will say that root x is equal to 7 minus y. Am I correct? So, here x is equal to 11 minus root y, and squaring on both sides, finally you may get. Immediately Ramanujan gave the answer as x equal to 9 and y equal to 4. The solution is here x equal to 9 and y equal to 4. Substitute it simply. X equal to 9, when you substitute is the root 9 means here root 9 is 3, okay, and y equal to 4 means here 3 plus 4 which is 7, correct. X plus root y equal to 11, x is you said 9 and root y of course root 4 which is 2. So, 9 plus 2 which is equal to 9. So, this is a very important, like fraction. After that he has given as different conjugate composite numbers. So, this is one of the innovation for that, okay, and he started with 2 and narrate different kinds of prime numbers. I will give a small clue to you that. So, how interesting that when you take the product of two or more consecutive prime numbers, add 1, it generates a prime number. If you have it out, check it. 2 and 3 are prime numbers. 2 3s are 6, 6 plus 1 7 is a prime number. Take 3 means 2 of 3 of 5, 2 3s are 6, 6 5 is 30, 30 plus 1 31 is a prime number. When you take 4 means 2 of 3 of 5 of 7 plus 1 which is 211 is a prime number. Means like if you want to generate a prime number or take the product of conjugative prime numbers and add 1 to it, it generates a prime number. But there is some exceptional cases are there, but in general we can. So, we can play with the numbers. This is most important. When he is studying at a 5th standard at the school, there are 1500 students and more than 30 teachers are there. You want to prepare the school timetable, and class timetable also. So, they are struggling for preparing this school timetable and class timetable. Ramanujan prepared with just within half an hour he prepared this total and he gave the total and synopsis. Actually very good synopsis is given. Most probably it is 606,165 synopsis as given as theorems. The book name is synopsis and there are 6,165 theorems are given by the Raman. That is a greatness of a mathematician. Clear? This is the most important. And we gave some other mathematicians also in the textbook, call it as Pythagoras. Okay, so Pythagoras theorem, already you know that Pythagoras is the greatest mathematician, and is not only a mathematician, he is a other of course philosopher also. He gave a theorem on geometry. Okay, that is a concern with the triangle. You know that yesterday class I explained that in a Pythagoras theorem means the square of the hypotenuse of a right angle triangle is equal to sum of squares of other two sides. Means here simply you call it as AC square equal to AB square plus BC square. This is called the Pythagoras theorem, and it is a very good application not only in geometry, in other branches of mathematics also. That is a Pythagoras theorem. Clear? And there is a very good solution is there which was given by Bhaskaracharya for this theorem. What you call it as a diagnostic theorem. I will give the theorem how to prove this Pythagoras in a different way. Means here draw a right angle triangle. Clear? Okay, and construct a square. Construct a square on hypotenuse, means this is a square. Okay. So, from the vertices of the square, draw parallel lines to the legs of the right angle triangle. This is one leg, draw a parallel line from this vertex. Okay. And draw one more from this, and this is an and from this. Clear? And from here draw up one more here. Okay. So, now it is divided into 4 triangles here, 1 2 3 4, 4 triangles. Clear? When you draw 4 triangles, these 4 triangles are similar. congruent also, and this is a rectangle. Decision method is called it as decision method. So, by using this concept also we can prove the Pythagoras theorem. This is the most important, and there are so many proofs in the Pythagoras theorem we can say about Pythagoras theorem also. Clear? Okay. And now coming to the other one, I said already George Cantor, who invented, of course, who develops set theory concepts also. That's most important, and you know that set theory concept is highly useful. We are using the development of a set theory as call it as a topology. So, topology and the development of that one will be concerned to the Boolean algebra. Like there is an extension for this these things. So, you know that Boolean algebra is the fundamental concepts of the computers, correct. So, if you want to understand the computers, you have to understand the Boolean algebra is also a very important. Clear? So, actually number theory is the most interesting also, observation also as the most important. I will give a simple concept. So, here you know that 16 minus 26 equal to 25 minus 45. 16 minus 16 minus is 26 is 16 is it is 10, 25 minus I will write 36 as 16 minus 36 equal to 25 minus 45. Am I correct? You know that it's correct. Okay. So, 16 minus 36 plus 81 by 4, I added 81 by 4 it is, and 25 minus 45, I added 81 by 4 it is. Clear? Okay. 16 I can write it as 4 square. 81 by 4 as 9 by 2 whole square, and 36 I want to write it 2 times of 4 times of 9 by 2. Okay. This one 25 as 5 square, and 81 by 4 as 9 by 2 whole square, and 45 as 2 times of 5 times of 9 by 2. Okay. Coming to one first step here, 16 minus 36 is minus 20, 25 minus 45 is minus 20, both are same. Any wrong in this step? No. 16 minus 36 I added 81 by 4 on both sides. Any wrong in step? Step is correct. Okay. 16 has written as 4 square, 81 by 4 as 9 by 2 whole square. Okay. And 36 has written as 36 as 2 times of 4 times of 9 by 2. 4 9s are 36, this 2 and this 2 get cancelled, correct? Okay. And 25 is 5 square, and 81 by 4 as a 9 by 2 whole square, and it is minus 2 times of 5 times of 9 by 2. This 2 and this 2 get cancelled. 5 9s are 45, nothing wrong, correct? Okay. Now, I am going to use the same as 4 minus 9 by 2 whole square, because a square minus 2ab plus b square, and this one is 5 minus 9 by 2 whole square is also same, a square minus 2ab plus b square. So, it is in the form of 4 minus 9 by 2 whole square, it is in the form of 5 minus 9 by 2 whole square. So, here yes, now I am removing the squares on both sides. 4 minus 9 by 2 equal to 5 minus 9 by 2. Then I am removing 9 by 2 on both sides, then 4 equal to 5. So, like you can say 1 equal to 2, 3 equal to 4, 4 equal to 5, all numbers are same, correct? Where is a mistake? This step is correct, this step is correct, this step is correct, this step is correct. Like if you say every step is correct, then where is a mistake? That is a very important. Okay. First step is correct, second step is correct, third step is correct, fourth step is correct, fifth step is wrong. The maximum people will say when a square equal to b square, then a equal to b. 4 minus 9 by 2 whole square equal to 5 minus 9 by 2 whole square. 4 minus 9 by 2 whole square, 5 minus 9 by 2 whole square means here, what is 4 minus 9 by 2? It is minus 1 by 2. 5 minus 9 by 2, it is plus 1 by 2. It is minus 1 by 2 whole square, this is a plus 1 by 2 whole square means those are not equal, because when a square b square, both a and b have the same parity, both are plus or both are minus. If one is plus and other one minus, there is no possibility to remove the square. Here it is a minus 1 by 2 whole square, this is a plus 1 by 2 whole square. So, we have taken this as minus 1 by 2 whole square means here. So, we said it is a 4 minus 9 by 2 means you remove that, and this is a plus 1 by 2, you should not remove that. Here the mistake. Okay. So, means here wrong concept you are proving in a regular methods. So, means here this is a very important. When you teach some mathematics, you have to adopt a good strategy. And maths also develops in a historical process. So, for when you see in a primary stage, all the concepts are as a abstract. Gradually, when you come into the higher classes, the abstractism will be reduced and it comes into the concrete mode. And previously, it is very difficult to understand some of the concepts. For example, 2 is a even 2 is a natural number. Another one said 2 is a rational number also. How it is natural? How is rational means? If you say the rational number is whole and part. Okay, so it comes from the part will comes from the whole and part both will be considered as a rational number, then no children will feel that. Like so, you have to give the connectivity and notion how the concepts will develop. Definitely, the children will understand easily. These are the few of the methods for how the maths is developed, and some of the mathematicians which are given in the textbooks from 6th to 10th, what are their contributions, I discussed it. And tomorrow we are going to learn very important, that is resources, very important, what are the good resources available, and in all this, do you know that 𝗃𝗍𝗺, Telangana Repository Open Education Resources and National Repository Open Resources, like we have site, we have NITs, and like Manati. Look, different websites are there, different channels are there, different textbooks are there, so different resource books are there. So, what are the different resource